Hello everyone, this is Zola here. Thank you for visiting my channel. Today we're going to talk about how to actually achieve and stick to your New Year's resolution this year. This is the Financial Metaverse, where we talk about all things personal finance, business, money tips, personal development for the new age. We are into the second week of a new year. And if you are like most people, you're probably beginning to realize just how demanding it's going to be to actually stick to your New Year's resolution. So I'm going to give you 5 crucial tips that will give you the best opportunity to succeed in sticking with your New Year's resolution this year. Please watch this video to the end because tip number 4 might actually surprise you. Tip number 1, who do you listen to? If you are listening to people who are negative, drain your energy, and don't add any value to your life, then it will make it extremely difficult for you to be able to achieve whatever objectives that you've set yourself out to achieve in this year. So the question then becomes, who should you be listening to? I would suggest that you listen to people who have already achieved the kind of success that you aspire to achieve in whatever area or sphere in your life, whether it be business, personal finance, fitness, weight loss, whatever the case may be. So you look for people who have already achieved the results and you listen to those people. But equally important is to listen to people who have traveled a similar journey that you are currently. So in other words, these people need to be people that you can relate to, because if you are listening to people who are successful in the areas that you want to succeed in, but you can't really relate to their story, you may find a lot of excuses creeping in, that this person was successful in this, but they didn't experience what I had to go through. So when you focus on listening to people who are successful but have traveled a similar road or a similar journey as you, it makes it more believable that success is actually possible, and not just possible but actually achievable for you as well personally. So this is a very crucial point when we talk about who you should listen to, specifically when it comes to the objectives that we are trying to achieve in specific areas of our life. Tip number 2 is the Teachability Index. The Teachability Index is comprised of 2 variables, which is your willingness to learn and your willingness to accept change. So out of a scale of 0 to 10, how teachable are you, would you say? You need to ask yourself that question. If your answer is a 10, that you are very teachable, then the likelihood of you succeeding and sticking to a New Year's resolution is actually high. But if your willingness to accept change is a 0, then the index becomes 0, because if you take 10, you multiply by 0, the answer is 0. Because if you're willing to learn but you aren't willing to change or to accept change, then nothing is going to change in your life. So Brian Tracy once taught that if you want things in your life to change, you've got to change things in your life. It sounds like so simplistic but yet so profound, because I mean, if you're not happy with the results that you're currently getting in your life, then obviously there's certain things that you got to change in your life. And it may be the most simple of things, such as waking up a bit earlier to get things more done or be more productive, such as cutting out on certain foods, for instance, that are not healthy for you, or stop hanging out with certain people or friends, that are not adding value in your life. So you've got to look at those things in order to make those changes that are required so that you can have a high teachability index. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 is a concept known as the training balance scale, and I learned this concept from Kevin Tredo. The myth that is commonly understood is that for a person to achieve success, they've got to have a balance between the why and the how. So in other words, the why would be the thought processes, the mental processes that one goes through before in order to be able to take action. And of course, the action would be the strategies, the tactics, the plans, and the implementation thereof. So the training balance scale is this myth that one needs to have a balance between these two things. It's a myth because if you don't have the correct mental processes to be able to act, whatever action you take will not lead you to a successful result. So if your thinking is flawed, for instance, and you're always focusing on negative things, and you've got this victim mentality or or failure syndrome, whatever action you take will not be one that is empowering or progressive at all. So the understanding of the training balance scale is that one needs to focus almost exclusively on the mental aspect of things. So your thinking processes, your belief system, your feelings and thought processes and patterns are crucial for you to be able to take inspired action in order to get and create the kind of life that you desire. So in order for you to succeed in achieving and sticking to your New Year's resolution, you got to change your mental processes. And the way that you do that is really studying and understanding the thinking process of those that inspire you, those that have achieved the results that you aspire to achieve, and those that you actually can relate to. And that's one of the most effective ways in order to change the thinking, the thought process and thinking patterns that lead to inspired and progressive action. Tip number four. Tip number four is the 4 steps that one goes through when they're learning new information or a new skill set, for example, starting from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. So before you learn anything, you start from a position where you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Before you knew how to drive, if you can drive a car right now, you didn't know how to drive a car. So you were unconsciously incompetent. And then you became aware that you couldn't drive and you need to learn to drive. And when you started driving, you became competent, consciously competent. So you literally had to think through every step of the process, how to shift a gear from the first to second gear, how to indicate and all of those things. You became consciously competent. As you continue to practice, ultimately you are probably at a stage where you are unconsciously competent. So you don't really have to think through every step of the process. It almost happens on autopilot. Same with learning directions, when you go home. You don't have to think, do I turn right or left? You can sometimes find your way home as you are driving without really having been consciously thinking about how you got there. So you need to understand that there's a process that one goes through in order to achieve success, and you need to be patient with the process. Like tying your shoes. Before you learned how to tie your shoes, you didn't know. You had to find out and emulate a person that you trusted, that you could see and knows how to do this thing, and you made a few errors. You kept practicing and practicing. Ultimately, you do it without thinking. Okay. Same if you have a fitness goal, you got to start from a position where you don't know what to do. You got to learn how to do it, and you got to practice it and until it becomes second nature to you. So whatever objective or resolution that you've set out to accomplish, just know and understand that it's going to go through a process, and you got to keep practicing and practicing the right way in order for you to achieve the kind of success that you desire. Tip number 5 is master the basics. Must learn to keep things simple. Just enjoy the process, enjoy life, have fun. Because ultimately the reason why you want to accomplish whatever objective that you've set out to accomplish in 2022 is so that you can be happy. I mean, if you want to earn more money this year, or you want a new job, a career, or you want to lose weight, or you want to gain muscle, such as myself, you want to do it because you want to feel happy and fulfilled. So why not just do it now and learn to practice the art of being fulfilled, of being grateful for all the gifts that God has given you and continues to give all of us each day. So learning to just be consistently in the attitude of gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to remain inspired and excited about life and about continually pursuing and growing and becoming the best versions of ourselves that we could possibly be. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, hit that notification bell so you can be among the first to receive new content when we release a new video. Thank you for watching. I wish you a prosperous new year.